I'm really excited. Obviously, when I played at Eastern New Mexico, I actually worked in the summers in Albuquerque. I did some officiating up there for USSSA. So that's kind of like my ties there. I have been yelled at by crazy 10 and under parents in Albuquerque. So those kids are probably like high school age now. So just so you know, I may be back and recruiting your kids. So you did yell at me. No, but I'm excited. I've been able to connect to the incoming kids this week. We've been doing Zoom calls to all the kids that are on the roster, and I've really enjoyed those conversations. They're ready to work. They've got the right mindset, and I think they're just excited to get on campus.
Hello, welcome, or sounds like welcome back to New Mexico. I'm curious, what drew you to the program in general? They're a program that was certainly trying to break through, and rise up the conference standings, and weren't able to do so. What drew you to where they're at right now, and wanting to help them, get to a higher level?
Great question. So leaving Stephen F. Austin, or being at Stephen F. Austin, I've been here for the last 5 or 6 years, and we've been able to build a program that competes for championships every year. And, it was a hard job when I got here. It wasn't like we needed to get better, and we've been able to do that here. And it was great. Whenever I was, on campus last week through the interview process, I really aligned with Eddie Nunez's vision for the program. They want softball to be one of their top sports. They want to invest in these kids. They have plans to make some improvements to the facility, which automatically makes them more competitive within the Mountain West. The Mountain West is a great conference. You've got 3 to 4 teams that are, nationally RPI ranked. I'm excited. I'm up for the challenge. It's kind of what I do. I like building things. I'm not deterred by record. I think that they've got talent. I think we can build around that. I love the facility. And I think with the facility and resources, I think this is a program that, could potentially host a regional. It's just going to take a lot of work, and the kids are going to have to buy in, and, recruiting the right kind of athletes. And I mean, realistically, like, the location is great. The campus is full. So I guess for me, facilities and resources and just the potential to what it can be, really sold me on the job.
How many similarities do you see where the Lobos are at right now and where Stephen F. Austin was when you took over? And you mentioned you got to build them from the ground up. So how similar do you plan to attack, the year 1, year 2 here to where you were?
So I'm a pretty authentic person. You get what you get. I am who I am. I'm big on routines. We're really organized. We do a good job with prep work. And I think it's just going to be coming in and, getting our system in place with our practice plans and our development plans. I think UNM has talent. I think we just have to develop those kids and teach the game and, figure out what our strengths are this fall. Hopefully we can play, 6 to 8 fall games and kind of get an idea of assessment of where we're at and what we need to improve on. So realistically, I think it's just going to come down to every single day we need to get 1% better.
Coach, first of all, congratulations on the gig, and obviously welcome back. I wonder, when you look at the specific roster that you have here, obviously a coach comes in, you look at what you have and assess that. And I'm sure you have some thoughts and ideas about players you've already scouted at Stephen F. Austin. What specifically do you see in designing a roster that gives this team a certain personality that maybe we haven't seen here in New Mexico?
This may be a selfish answer because pitching and recruiting are that's what I do well. We've got to load up on pitching. It's got to start in the circle, and I feel like that's what we've got to attack. Even within the summer, we're going to be looking to bring in some transfer pitchers to really supplement the roster and the rotation that they had last year. And I think that if we can strengthen our pitching staff and utilize, 5 to 6 kids within the Mountain West, I think we can be really competitive year 1. But everything starts with pitching. If you don't have good pitching, you don't have a chance to win the championship. So that's really what we're going to target.
And what's your message? I'm sorry.
My bad. Go for it.
I'll just follow up with one. And what's your message to the players? Because when a new leader comes in, there's a lot of uncertainty. And you've been through that before as a coach, going to a new program, but maybe they haven't been through that before. How do you make sure that you make that proper transition in a personal way with the players here?
Well, we've started off having Zoom calls this week with the players and their family, just kind of answering questions. And, just from the feedback I got while I was on campus last week, talking to the training room staff, talking to academic staff, talking to the admin, these kids told administration, hey, we want to be pushed. We want to be challenged. We want to be coached. And, I've had those conversations within my Zoom calls and those player meetings. And I told them, I said, hey, be careful what you wish for. I'm get there in the first 2 weeks and you're going to work harder than you've ever worked and you're going to think I'm crazy. But I mean, as long as they have an open mind and they communicate, which is something that I think our staff will do really well with the kids, as long as we can connect and get on the same page and, have the same goal, as long as they're willing to work, I think this process will be a really smooth transition across the board.
So you kind of touched on in the first question, but obviously recruiting local, is that something that you really get to focus on as well? And, kind of going after local players and recruiting?
Okay, so the way my recruiting philosophy works is we're going to get the best players in the area and just work out. That's what we've been able to do here at SFA, even when I was at TJC. I think just within the roster, I mean, you look at a kid like Rachel Hathut. I mean, local kid, she was injured this past year, but I mean, just the film that I've seen on her, I mean, this kid is a solid game changer and she's an athlete. And if we can, bring in local talents and, thrive off of that, that's just going to increase community engagement too. I mean, that's kind of one of the things that I really want to, dial into is let's get the community out there. Softball's a fun game. Look at the College World Series right now. It's fast. You can watch it under 2 hours. The girls have great energy. So I just think that, having local kids really get the community backing you. And there is like D1 level athletes within the state of New Mexico.
For sure. And then just kind of moving forward, it seems like pitching is obviously going to be a big thing for you moving forward and like trying to get a couple more arms in. But I guess just short-term goals, just coming in, what are some things that you hope to attain this season and just maybe even just looking forward long-term, what are some goals?
Obviously just make sure I'm not muted, as a coach, every single year, one of my goals is to compete for a conference championship. In year one, like we want to be really competitive. We want to make the tournament and we want to make a run at the tournament. San Diego State, Fresno, Boise, UNLV, these teams are going to be all that in a bag of chips, but I feel like this team has a really good base. So if we can get some arms and manage our staff, I think we're going to be really competitive even year one. So, but long-term goals, I took this job because I believe I can win and I expect to win. So I want to compete for championships. And, one of the reasons that, I felt like there was so much more growth for me as a coach. I think at the University of New Mexico, the fields on campus, the facilities are great. We can, make a couple investments within the facility within the next 2 to 3 years, and we could host a regional. Like it's set up. Albuquerque is set up to host. And why not? Why not us?
Coach, I think we all would have loved to say hi to you in person and do this in person, but I know it's a whirlwind of a thing when you take over a program and you're moving and everything. What's going on with you right now? When do you expect to get out in Albuquerque? And I assume you're already hitting the recruiting trail.
Okay. So Monday morning, I listed my house in Nacogdoches for sale. Wednesday morning, I had a full price offer on the house. So I have an inspection Friday. I'm hoping to sell this I'm actually flying to Albuquerque on Tuesday. I've got some transfer visits set up. I'm probably going to be in Albuquerque for the next 2 weeks, just doing visits with transfers. We'll have Coach Spearman. She's my assistant hitting coach. She'll be coming with me to New Mexico. She's going to be out on the road recruiting at tournaments while I'm kind of tackling the on-campus visits. So that's kind of the plan right now. Add some transfers, 2 to 3 kids that can help us right now, especially in the circle.